Hi there, my name is Josie and you are listening to the Yoga Local podcast. Welcome. Our topic today is empathy and this kind of tango between empathy and compassion and what is the difference. So what I wanted to kind of start off with is just to see if you relate to that feeling when you're so deep in someone else's emotion that you can almost feel you're living their experience. That's what I would call empathy, and it's a really amazing thing. But you know, let's be real, when we're in that situation, while it's wonderful to be able to feel into someone's hurt, sometimes it can feel as like we're on an emotional roller coaster ourselves. You know, you might have all been in the situation where you're, having coffee out with a friend and suddenly they start pouring out their heart to you and they're going through some kind of rough patch and if you're anything like me, you're right in there with them, you want to help them, you want to offer them support, you want to give them hugs. You may even want to offer some kind of advice that would help them navigate this situation that they're in. And, what's wrong with that? After all, that's what friends are for, right? But it is as the day goes on that we start to realise that we've soaked up so much of that energy, that negative energy, the pain, the suffering, and it can leave us feeling really super drained. And I want you to know that this happens to the best of us. But I 100% maintain that empathy is a superpower. It's what makes us human. It's what enables us to connect. It's what helps us to understand people on a deeper level. And if you have ever come across someone who has no empathy at all, for me it's quite jarring. But there's definitely those people out there. It's really hard to connect with someone if you don't have that level of empathy and connection. But on the flip side, if you are constantly drowning in someone else's drama or many people's dramas, this is not a recipe for thriving. And I think it's something that if you're a practicing yogi or you're in this space of, looking to serve and help people through whatever modality, whatever caring profession that you're in, we can tend to take on too much. So what I want to offer you in this podcast is, the yoga secret sauce to this situation and how we can start to really use our empathy, up our empathy game without getting sucked into all that emotional turmoil and whirlwind. So for that, we really need to talk about the difference between empathy and compassion. And I just wanted to, tell you a story about myself. And even before I became a practicing yogi, I would say that I was always, what you would call a sensitive soul. I would very easily pick up on vibes in the room. I still do pick up on vibes in the room. It carries a certain energy for me, all that jazz. And part of that is sussing the environment out, right? It's a survival mechanism. It's a primordial skill that helps us to kind of read the room. But sometimes that sensitivity can, throw us a curveball. Because that same sensitivity can lead you to offer out solutions, not because they're needed, but because, we might have our own particular attachment to our outcome. We have our own hang-ups, like wanting a situation to be resolved for our safety or for someone else's safety, or to be validated or to be liked or even loved. All of us can, bring our own stuff in order for an outcome to turn out a certain way. And it's not the best way to deal with situations, but this is where yoga can offer a lifeline, because it's through dedicated practice and consistent practice that we start to tune into our own energy field. We start to understand our own nature, and this then in turn can help us to learn to better navigate someone else's energy, without getting sucked into any resulting undertow. We don't get pulled into the drama. And it's worth remembering that any kind of codependency that comes from offering out our medicine, that comes from our own agenda, means we're not free. We're simply slaves to our tendencies. We're just moving through a pattern. So that doesn't mean we're free either. So that's something to be able to catch yourself in the act of, for sure, when you're in those situations, which again circles us back to yoga practice, because again it has some of the answers, because as we practice, as we work with our own energetic field, as we connect and sensitize more to our internal environment through asana, through pranayama, through meditation, all that stuff is going to enhance our empathic ability. But the game changer is it's also teaching us to take stock in the moment, to find presence, and then recognize in that presence if any of that incoming empathy is rooted in those tendencies, is rooted in our own personal needs, wants, our own personal attachments to outcomes, or is it rooted in compassion? So this is the difference. You see, empathy is a connection we have, or maybe we don't have, and that's all linked to something called the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is an autonomic, or it's part of the autonomic nervous system, and it helps to regulate things like our heart and our digestion and all those functions that we really don't need to think about. But it's also what's keeping our emotional experiences in check. And it turns out from studies that have been done over the years that our vagus nerve, the more active it is, the better we are at tuning into others' feelings. So it's like it's personal. It's like our own personal ability to dial in and out of a situation. Compassion, on the other hand, is more neutral. It's not personal, and it comes from that field of consciousness itself. It comes from the universal field, not our personal energetic blueprint. It's not coming through our filter. So it comes from this deep place of consciousness itself, which is necessary for us to experience, so that we can understand what's going on without getting pulled into all that drama. It's been described to me in the past, which was helpful, and so I'm passing it on to you, as feeling like meditating or high-level listening. So it's present, super present, your most available level of listening. Think of that, super present, in presence. And that's when we can discern in the moment what it's important to be aware of. And it's not tied in, again, to all these kind of wants, needs, desires of our own. It's not personal. And it's a form of grace. And it's something that we receive. It's not something that we own and project and put out there. It's something we receive and flows through us effortlessly. We're not creating it or generating it. And then recognizing anything that is not compassion in these circumstances is then the key to thriving. So as we increase our energetic ability and our sensitivity, we can then understand someone else without merging with their energy field, without becoming pulled along by their energy field. And amazingly, what that does is help us to understand why someone would do something, even though it goes against our own personal values or our own integrity, something that we would never do ordinarily. That's what helps us to understand. And yeah, it's an amazing gift to work towards through our practices. So I'm not going to devalue the yoga tradition by just giving you a quick 5-tip list, which you'll see in other areas of the yoga world. I understand why we do it. We want to get that information over, and it comes from a place of compassion. It comes from a place of wanting to help people. However, it can be misleading to do that. However, yoga has gold within it to offer when you practice it in a committed way. And I just want to make you aware of those little nuggets. So things like being able to take stock, to be still, to get present in the moment, to find that discernment, and essentially move into that universal space where compassion is free flowing, and you don't have to generate it, it's there already. And then it's about, another nugget is being able to discover those tendencies. So what is it that's coming up? What is it that's getting in the way? Where are you throwing in your own kind of medicine to serve your own agenda, to help you feel a certain way, or for a certain outcome that you're looking for? Again, these are tough questions, not always make you feel great, but it's in that kind of contemplation and awareness that we can then start to learn about moving through empathy and into compassion. Our practice will help us to start to notice tension in the body, tension in our voice becoming more aggravated or animated. And that's all stuff that's trying to teach you something in the present moment. So, when we're getting super still in poses and allowing things to come up, this is our training ground for, real life, when things are going to come up, and we are put in situations where, we can either help that situation grow and evolve and move through, or it stays in constriction and tightness and drama. And then also, these are things you might not have thought that this is what we're doing when we practice yoga. Things like working out what your attachments to outcomes are, and the things that you might need to let go of. And it's also about learning not to just want to save people, to rescue them, to come up with all the answers. Yoga is helping us to learn to live in our questions and allow solutions to unfold. And I just want you to think about how your life might change, and how those around you, the lives of those around you, would change if you could help others get the answers for themselves in the moment. And then let's not forget, another piece of gold in yoga is always the breath. That's our trusty sidekick, as always. And really, it does become the ultimate truth serum. So you only have to take a breath or two, and suddenly everything can change, right? Our minds become clearer. We are able to speak with a little bit more compassion, or just really find our words and find that best outcome for everyone. And yoga also teaches that the best outcome for everyone is also the best outcome for you, because we're all one, and that's grace for you. This universal understanding of who we are. So as always, I'm going to leave you with this thought that yoga is such a big practice that can help in so many ways to help you grow, to help you manage situations in life, to help you to become all that you can be. And it's just waiting for you to tap into. And if you're curious and you want to dive into understanding more about how practice can help you manage situations better, leave behind the chaos, create deeper questions to problems, help uncover more meaningful answers, and find your true self in the whole process, then you know where I am. And we're at Yoga Local. We're in Wellingborough, but we're also offering classes online. And we'd love to connect and even have a conversation. So in whatever way you can get in touch, so many ways, as I always say, email, social media, via any kind of links in this blog, please get in touch and let's have a conversation. Let me know what you think. Okay, that's all for now. Take care, and I'll see you on the next podcast. Bye-bye.